All right, guys, you're thinking about living in Costa Rica? You're gonna move to Costa Rica? You're gonna bring 2 houses down here? You need a container? Maybe just a pallet. Maybe you're bringing your cars and your motorcycles. You are not gonna wanna miss this video because we're gonna be talking to Pablo because that's what he does. But first, I gotta pay a few bills. Hey guys, I'm Michael Lam for TravelCostaRicaNow.com. TravelCostaRicaNow.com is a travel agency, so go to TravelCostaRicaNow.com. Fill out the 4-minute form. You'll be that much closer to the vacation of a lifetime. We're like you, having best friends who live in Costa Rica, who know Costa Rica, totally hooking up your Costa Rica vacation. Hey man, please subscribe. YouTube does not care if you subscribe or not. I like it, D'Angelo likes it, and maybe even Pablo likes it. But you got to hit the notification bell if you want to see videos as we put them up. The travel tips, the expat interviews, all the stuff we do, hit the notification bell. Hey man, do you appreciate the content? You can donate. Go to TravelCostaRicaNow.com, hit that donate button, and D'Angelo can have his lights on for 1 more month. Pablo doesn't know the rules of taping, that you're supposed to turn off your phone. No. Pablo, thanks so much for talking to us. Well, first I got to do a shout out, man. Pablo got me this this cup. Look at that, Travel Costa Rica Now. The big cup is back.
There you go.
All right, so sorry. I'm a little excited. I've been trying to, he's a busy man. I've been trying to do this video for 74 years.
No way.
Something like that.
No way, man.
All right, man. So first of all, obviously people are going to go, well, this is post-COVID. There are some inflation problems and there's supply chain problems. And we're going to get to all that stuff. But first, just your service. What do you do for clients in actually a lot of different countries? But so people are contacting you. What are you doing?
All right, guys. Well, thank you.
You can look at me. You can look at me. We're good.
I want to say thank you for the chance to be here, the opportunity to be here, and been following up on the channel. And a lot of the information you provide is so useful for the expat community, and I think that's missing. And a lot of the information out there, I'm sorry to say this, it may not be as true, as real, and Mike provides the service of sharing all this knowledge inside that is going to help you a lot. So this is a good way for you guys to learn if you want to move to Costa Rica.
I'm just going to go with the thank you on
that.
What
do I do? And I have this approach. Basically, we are a logistics company. We do shipping, containers, customs declarations. That's the service we provide. But we have a very different approach. We sit down with each customer. We do a free consultation call. So there's no cost to it. It takes me a lot of time to do it. I usually do 6 to 8 consultation calls per day. And I sit down 15 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes an hour, depending on what are the requirements. And we talk about the requirements, the rules, the regulations. I give you all the reasons why not to ship, why is it that you don't need to do business with me. You can buy a lot of these things in Costa Rica, so you may not need it. But if you need it, we take care of you and we take care of the process for you. So I give you all this insight, and sometimes it goes into, hey, I need a gardener in Tamarindo, I need this, and I'm happy to provide contacts and introduce you to some of the people that I've been meeting and knowing for years that could help you as well.
Before you get into your service, I want to interrupt real quick because I was going to say this in the beginning. Guys, you do not know how hard it is to find people that think like-minded like I do. That people that are transparent in their prices, honest in what they're doing. Yes, going to make some money, but not going to gouge you to do it. You know how hard it is to find the rental car companies, the immigration people, the real estate lawyers, people like him.
It's just difficult.
They're not around. And he's probably going to get into some of the problems if you maybe pick the wrong person. So I just want to say, I don't take this referral to him lightly. You guys trust me. Well, guess what? I trust him. So I just want to make sure we're clear on that. Very hard to find people that are going to be honest, go the extra mile. Is it true? I mean, you run into it in your own business.
The mindset for Latin America, not just Costa Rica, I just have the mindset for Latin America, and I said this a couple of weeks ago in a Facebook Live with a friend of mine. The mindset here is the Costa Rican, the Latin American, they're not going to say no in general. You're gonna find.
They'll say yes to anything.
They just say, "Do you have a rental for me?
Yes.
Do you have the car that I need? Yes. Do you have the 3rd row seat? Yes." And when you get there, guess what? no, I don't have it. All I have is this 2-door little tiny thing, and then it's not good for your family. But they say yes to you. They just say yes to everybody just to get you indoor, just to try to get another business, just to sell you into something that you don't really need or want. That's kind of like the mentality for a lot of business people.
And they also don't want to disappoint you in a sense. So it's almost like they go, I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to hope it works out later. In a sense, sometimes it's maybe ripping people off, but other times it's like I want it. Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes it's naive. Sometimes it could be a bad business practice, and you're gonna face this in general in Costa Rica or in Latin America. You move, and I do move people from Canada to Panama or Canada to Ecuador, and in Latin America it goes like the same. People do not want to say no to a customer. Can you paint my house in 7 days? Yes, I can. And guess what? It's not going to be 7 days. It's going to take then 3 weeks, and you're going to be upset. And me understanding this, and I lived in the U.S. almost a decade, and me understanding the two different mindsets and the culture, I set up what I do in a different format where I like to say everything that is hard to do, how complex this is, and eventually if you need our services, we take care of you. And if you don't need our services, what happens, Mike, is people will just go and refer our name. I get customers left and right because people understand I'm trying to be as transparent as possible. And I'm not saying we are perfect, but we honestly try to take care of our customers. That's kind of like what we do is shipping and logistics, and I've been doing this for over a decade.
And that's a big chunk of change for people to do that. So they need to pick the people that are going to take care of their households, their cars, all their stuff. They should be a little picky in who they choose to do it.
It's also complex. And when you go, you look for a provider for this. And I had this, invitation to talk about shipping, big conference, and I make the good, the bad, and the ugly for international moving, especially in the US and Canada. Movers in general, they have a really horrible name to them in general. They usually the movers. If you go to the Better Business Bureau for moving, for the moving industry in the U.S., they have thousands of claims of people, being ripped off.
Hold their furniture hostage.
Exactly. And international moving, it's even more complex to it because it's not just the U.S. laws and regulations, or not just the Canada laws and regulations. Now you're dealing with international freight, with another country customs and processes. So it's even more complicated. So I just really hate when I see a website that says, we'll do everything easy, it's gonna be a walk in the park, and they call you and say, hey, yeah, I need the deposit, you just grab the money, and they figure things out later.
They say yes, and yes. Right.
And that's the mover in general. It's not just the Latin America thing.
Well, I like how you do it. You have we're going to get into a lot of this, but you have a consultation. You make sure everyone's understanding what the process is going to be. How much do they even need you? Are they going to pack their houses themselves? Are you going to handhold them from packing the house all the way to their house in Costa Rica? What are you doing? And you're going to come up. You're pretty transparent in what you're doing. You just don't go, yeah, we're going to do it. You talk to them first. You have a process.
I do spend a lot of time with customers. I do spend doing the coaching on the first approach. I get customers all the time. They call me. They call my cell phone. For the most part, I cannot answer the phone because I'm in a conference talking to a family. 20 minutes. That finish. It goes next 20, 15 minutes. And that's every day. But this initial 20 minutes is just free information. And it's based on everybody is different. Somebody is gonna bring, all their gear for scuba diving. And there is particular regulations for scuba diving gear. And somebody else is gonna bring just normal household goods. So I go into what is it that you have, what is it that you need. Maybe you want to set up a business in Costa Rica. That's an entire different process. So those conversations could go one way or the other. So having somebody that knows about these things could save you a lot of time and money. This is the way I see it. So this is free. And then
so the initial consultation is just free to get on the same page, see where they're at, they see where you're at, you meet them and all that.
The first thing we do is a consultation. It's free, and then we go into, if you need our services. A lot of times people do not need me. A lot of times they say, hey Paulo, I got probably one pallet. Whoever is telling me he needs a pallet, in most cases I will explain you how to do it. Just pay the additional luggage. If you do pay the additional luggage on your flight to Costa Rica, it's going to cost you probably $100 per case or per
So you mean the
bin.
people that just want to rent a
Yeah, a lot of people-
pallet maybe this high,
Yeah, a
they
lot
should
of-
just bring it down
Yeah,
themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
See, I wouldn't.
It's not gonna cost you. It might cost you $1,000 to do it, just paying the extra to the airline. But if you do it in a formal way for shipping logistics, it's gonna be $3,000 plus import taxes.
And that's
So
just a pallet.
It's too expensive to hire an agent in California. Another, the shipping. Then it gets here. Then you have to pay storage at customs. Then you have to pay import taxes. By the time you finish with all that, it's better for you to just ship it. Just come with this instead of shipping it.
Yeah.
You save money, and guess what? You don't pay taxes. Because as a traveler, there is an international law that as a traveler, you don't have to pay taxes on your personal things.
Right.
As long as it's just 2 electronic devices.
Kind of like unpack them. Don't show 10 new computers in the package.
No. I mean, it has to be maybe 2 laptops. That will be fine. If it's 3, then it's an issue, even if it's used. So it has to make sense. If it's only you and then you have 5 iPads, that's not gonna cut it. Now, even though you may have more electronics, there is a law that allows you to bring $500 worth of your own personal things, even if they're new in the package. If they're worth less than $500, customs will stamp your passport and let you in. A lot of times it's a family, so husband, wife. So you bring, this person brings this, and this other person brings this. So you divide the things into 2 different, big cases, plastic bins.
So they didn't need the pallet.
So you don't need me. So if you don't need me,
you're gonna tell them.
I just really hate. If you don't need me, you can do it yourself. I mean, this is knowledge that can just. I'm happy with just sharing knowledge. If you don't need me, a lot of times after that, people would just still call me and say, "Hey, Paulo, I'd rather for you to do it." So I'm really happy that people would trust us with
but
their project.
at least you told them their options and didn't try to pull one over on them and go, "Well, you can't do it that way. You need to go through me."
And we were just talking about it. It's my philosophy of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do this for the long term. So I'd rather give you an advice and make you a friend. You have a new connection with somebody, than just trying to make $500 on a small pallet. It's just not.
What are some of your? Let's go maybe some frequently asked questions. Some of the ones you're going to get almost every consultation. Maybe just hit a few of those just to.
Okay, I think the most common question is what are the things, and you have to think all of this is different. If you're shipping, if you're coming with this in your flight, it's a different set of rules. If you're shipping kind of like small packages like Amazon, it's a different set of rules. And if you're doing a container, big shipment, or a pallet through a formal customs process, that's what I do for the most part. So for my customers, the one that need to ship a pallet or more or a container, the very, very common question is, what are the things that are, I shouldn't be shipping? I don't have to, what are the things that are going to give me a trouble within customs? And I said this all the time, is all of the things that you as a human or a human eats, if it's food, if it's vitamins, if it's products that is for human use, or maybe it's for your skin or a shampoo, or some people have very particular taste about things, and they think maybe they are not going to find their product in Costa Rica. Maybe there is no. For the most part, I would say 80% of the things that you find in the U.S., you can probably find this at Walmart. Even if you might not be in the Central Valley, but we have Walmart, and then we have Automercado and all of these chains that they carry a lot of the things that are available in the U.S. So 80% are going to be okay, maybe not the same brand, but very similar products.
So in other words, you can't bring those in a container.
Those, let's say you can, let's say you can, but the cost of getting the permits to import food or these things will be a lot more expensive. It's not worth it. So it's a headache. I have to go to the health department, get a permit. That's going to take 2 additional weeks, which is going to cost more storage, which is going to be a headache. And it's the system, the logistics and customs is not designed for one person to import a small box with shampoos and food. It's not designed for it. It's designed for a big company like, I don't know, Johnson & Johnson or Kimberly-Clark, or, they will import a container full of 5,000 bottles of shampoos. They will do the permits. These permits are going to cost probably $400 to do. So, it's expensive to register all of that. But out of 5,000 shampoos, 10 cents per bottle, they have their business covered. Somebody else is going to pay for that additional extra cost. But for you, if you want to bring your container, bring wine and these things you like, guess what? That bottle of wine is going to cost you $500 by the time you finish. It's just not
worth it.
So there's a lot of things that are like that. Food and anything that you eat, you put in your body, your shampoos, all of those things require permits with the health department, and it's not just customs. I have to get other government entities.
So it's not like you can't do it. It's just going to be not worth the price that you have to pay to do it.
Exactly. It's expensive. It's just that it doesn't make sense. And a lot of times, you can do it, but having your things on hold for 2 weeks because the shampoo permit, it doesn't make sense.
What are some of the biggest culprits of that? So maybe shampoo, that kind of stuff, wines. I even heard like clothes.
Okay, there is
what are the main?
Let me continue. Let me continue. So this is one big one. Anything that you eat, you put in your body. The other one that is funny, is silly, that people do not realize, but is a very common issue, is not clothing, and it depends. There is a couple of ways to file customs. One is for general goods. So anytime you import clothing under general goods, if it's used, you have to go into asking for a permission, for permission, get fumigation. So pay for the fumigation, get the permission, the permits. So it's a headache to do it. As you move into Costa Rica, if you prove that you're moving, and proof that you're moving is you own a property or you have a long-term rental agreement. If you're moving to Costa Rica, we're able to import clothing without the fumigation, easier process because you're moving. So I can justify that a little bit better. But anything that is underwear,
undergarments, like
your shoes, customs and the government sees this as a possible threat. It could be a possible. You could have fungus disease on your food.
Right.
And they don't understand. They just see black and white. Oh, use shoes. That could be, shoes that, a kid, with low income end up wearing, and they're going to get the disease of somebody else. So that's complicated. Use shoes and use underwear. Anything else, just your clothing, your jeans. If you have a customs broker that knows how to deal with household goods and moves, they should be able to do it just fine. If your broker is not designed to service an international move, they would usually have this doubt, or they're not used to this. So having a customs broker, let me just say this, it's like going into an attorney. You go to an attorney. If you want to get a divorce, you look for somebody that is specialized in family issues.
Right.
If you want to go into a lawsuit or getting into a fight, you go to a litigation attorney.
Right.
If you want to open a business, you want to talk to an attorney that is an expert in corporate in business or in human resources. Customs is the same way. Customs brokers in Costa Rica, I think there may be 7 that would specialize in household goods out of the hundreds of customs brokers that there are.
Are there really that many?
Yeah, there are many. And there are some that specialize in just normal general goods. There are some others that specialize in maybe live animals and things like that. So industries will have different. There's some. For instance, I have a friend that just does anything that has to be with agriculture, because agriculture, you have to deal with the agriculture department in Costa Rica, not just customs, and you can get the exonerations, the benefits. So having a broker that is specialized in that niche will give you a lot of different benefits, and you can benefit for it.
Now, do you have people that do that?
Yeah, I would just recommend. I would not get in. I like to stay in my niche.
In your lane.
Yeah, I like to stay on what I do best. I get requests from people that wants to open a business, or I just say, hey, you need to talk to this person. They specialize on that particular product, and that's what I will do. Now, the problem in Costa Rica and in Latin America is you usually talk to a construction guy and ask him, can you build my house? And yes, I can build your house. Can you build a bridge? Yes, I can do a bridge. Can you do a highway? Yes, I can do a highway. So when you have to be really careful and do your diligence, your research, because people tend to say yes to everything. You know, we just talk about it. It's the same thing within the logistics and logistics and customs industry in general. You talk to somebody, oh yeah, we'll do it. I'm an expert. And it's very obvious the companies that are set up and designed for this, it's very clear they know how to do this, and we usually educate the customer, and we usually, you know, we treat this a little bit different.
Do most people want you to do the whole thing? Or is it?
I think it's 50-50.
So from their house packing it, you set all that up to them getting in their house in Costa Rica. There's that part, and then there's that part where they get their stuff down to the port, kind of. I would just have 3 different type of customers. I have customers, and those are like usually corporate and diplomatic customers, and some of the expats, you know, little higher income. They want everything, you know, everything in this service. So we get an agent in the U.S., Colorado. They go, pack everything. They bring moving boxes, bubble wrap. They do everything. If you have fine art, they will do crates. And it's different in every different state, you know, what's available. If you live really, really far away, maybe Alaska, that's very complicated to get that type of quality agent. But that's one way of doing this. You hire door-to-door full packing services. That's one. The other option is, and I talked to you in this initial consultation. So we talk and we try to figure out what is the best for your particular case. And plus, what's going to be cost effective.
I mean, some people is just not set up to do everything. You know, some people is not set up to pack everything. Maybe you are in, you know, 65 to 60 plus years old. You know, and then, you know, packing a 3-bedroom house is too complex for you. You know, you have to be honest with yourself, and if you're not set up for that challenge, you know, it's better for you to hire the entire service.
It is true that you kind of have to mark everything you're packing, and everything has to be line itemed and written and all that, right?
You have to do a good packing list. How customs wants it is they want to know what's in every box, every nail,
every little thing, right?
Every little thing. Right. That's how they want it. I have a process that is different, and this is, you know, when I make the difference, you know, I have a process that basically when the shipment gets here, I spend the time to do an inspection before customs, and I do the packing list the way customs needs it. So the customer doesn't have to do that list. So this is the way I operate.
So you make sure everything is right.
So because 9 out of 10, the customer is not going to have it 100%. Right. You're just going to have a mistake. So I will have to go anyway. Okay, I understand. Yeah. So, but if I said this is how customs wants it, black and white, they wanna know, you know, this yard is made out of glass, and I have 20 of them in this box, and another thing is made out of plastic, and something else is made out of whatever, and I have to tell what is it made of, how many, you know, it's too detailed, so it's almost impossible to just do it properly. So this is why I want to go into an additional couple of more days to do pre-inspections. Mm-hmm. And it's just more work, but I could assure my shipments are no fines, 100%.
So how long are you spending with the customer? Sounds like you're with a customer like freaking 6 months.
It's a lot of time. Just customs alone could be a month.
Yeah?
Customs, Costa Rica could be a month for a 20-foot container, or for a car. You know, cars, they have 2 inspections. We get Riteve, that's like a 3rd inspection. So it's customs is a month, and usually shipping from another country, the US or Europe, it's like 2 months in transit. It's maybe a little less, month and a half, but I like to say 2 months. So overall, the average shipment is 3 months.
Do people have any, this is just my question, do people have any recourse if things go south? Like, what if shit just gets screwed up? Is there any, I'm not saying that you have to guarantee your work, but I'm saying what happens if things just go wrong?
And what could happen if things go wrong?
Could they, I mean, I don't know, that's right, not even a fair question, because that kind of puts it on, like, you're supposed to guarantee that everything gets here perfectly to their house, but I mean, things can go wrong. I mean, there's this complicated process.
There is a big risk. I mean, there is a huge risk of things going sideways. And this is why it's important to first research who you're doing business with. Then try to have somebody, whoever you do business. I'm not saying you have to do business with what we do, but what I'm saying is, if you have to pick somebody, research, look for reviews, good for testimonials. Go to the expat groups. You know, there's a lot of people that get together in a group and just talk
And
about.
they'll tell you.
They
will
give you
tell
good and bad. They give
They
you
will
they,
tell
they
you.
give, they give you everything. So you talk to people. Then after that, your provider for international shipping is gonna be a 90-day, 3 months. So you have to feel good about how they do business. So
Because it can kind of be stressful.
so
obviously.
90 days. I mean, I understand somebody just buys a car and it's like, okay, that's out. This is a transaction and that's it. So you don't even have to like, you know, who sells you a car, right?
Right,
The
right.
car is nice and it's fine. But when you're hiring an architect, somebody's gonna build a house for you for 6 months, a construction company. That relationship has to be a good relationship.
Right.
It's like I said this to my customers. This is like a marriage. We were married for 3 months on this, so you have to understand how do they operate. It has to be somebody that is willing to explain things and not just send you an email with the price. And
Or just saying yes to everything.
just,
like you said
yeah,
before.
and it's funny, and I think I learned this. I mean, I learned a lot of this with my early customers. I remember this customer. I guess I was like this from the beginning. I had this customer who was moving with the Harley Davidson back to California, and I said to the customer all of the reasons why not. You know, that is going to require this and this and this, and you're going to have to go to Harley Davidson, the factory, and get me a letter, and it's going to be complex. And the guy ended up booking the shipment. A French guy moving to California. He ended up booking the shipment, and he said, Jean-Marc said, you know why I hire you? Because all of the other moving companies, I had 5 moving companies came to my house to check on my move. Nobody said anything about the bike and the requirements. Nobody said anything. What are the risks? And you did it different. You just tried to push me not to ship the bike. And then, since then, I really understood it's so important. It's so important to say all these things, because eventually, if you end up using any of the service or you end up using our service, we're gonna have to deliver. You know, if you're shipping something that is illegal or is gonna have an issue within customs, you're gonna be upset with me. So I'd rather give you all this information up front and let you decide. That's kind of like.
Okay, let's talk about like we could say the elephant in the room. Obviously, let's say we'll just go with the United States. Things aren't going that great there. There's supply chain issues. Ships are sitting in port in LA, not moving. Inflation. We're possibly going to have a recession coming next month. You know, all these things are happening. How has this changed pre-COVID prices? Because I'm sure they've gone up. I mean, I want to be honest with everybody about. So if we could kind of talk a little bit about how the price differences now versus the way they were, and what to expect it. I mean, they should know that everything's kind of.
Yeah, in general, everything has gone up.
So maybe
In
do it
general.
like a.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You go right now. You go put get some gasoline, and it's gonna be more expensive.
Right.
Anywhere in California, what is it? $7 per? Like
It's ridiculous, right?
It's just very, very expensive.
Well, I just want to give them an idea, kind of what they could expect.
And I think COVID has made some of it. Yes, but I think it's also inflation. Now you have COVID.
Definitely. Yeah.
You have COVID. That's a given. We have this thing for now 2 years plus. Make things more complicated. The logistics chain, because we do so much business with China. This is the factory, of everything. They send things to. This is the Pacific Ocean. They send everything through California for the most part. So ports in California, Seattle, LA, San Francisco are booked, are overcrowded. There is container delays. And sometimes I'm guilty about this. I do this conversation with my customers, and I had another day I had to apologize to her because I didn't really stress this out enough. It could be you order the container today with 30 days in advance, And it could be that the shipping company called me and say, the container is not, we cannot get the container for you. So we have to roll, meaning we have to delay the loading of your container for next week. And this could happen for 2 or 3 weeks in a row.
Right.
So if you're planning the entire move, and then you have your flight, going out on the 15th, and then
So you're trying to
the
time
mover-
everything, right?
Yeah, you have to be very coordinate things. You try to purchase your tickets a month in advance so you save money. But it could very well happen that the visa line, and this is something that is out of anybody control. Like, we cannot control it. Not even Coca-Cola as a company that sends hundreds of containers a month can control this. So they can roll the container for next week. It means that you may have to change your flight, lose money. So that's something very often. For the most part, we try to coordinate with a double. This is called double handling, meaning we send our agent with a moving truck, load everything, move it into a warehouse, but that is more expensive. It's double handling. So people try to save that money. So I want to save the money. I don't want this double handling. Of course, it's also people do not like it sometimes.
Wait, what's it called? Double what?
Double handling.
Oh, handling. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
So the double, meaning you want to move on the 15th, the container is not going to be there, or there is a big risk of the container not being, a day before or when you want it. So we go, load everything, put it in a warehouse. So we wait, and then you can take your flight, and then we wait for the container next week or 2 or 3 weeks later. So that's how we manage some of it. Of course, this is more expensive. It could really cost a couple of $1,000s more, $1,500 more, depending on the state, depending on the distance of where this warehouse is located. Mm-hmm. So it's more expensive, but it gives you the convenience. And I try to explain this, and sometimes, like I said, I had a customer, I think last week, we explained everything. We have the phone call. And then I think I didn't stress this enough, that where we have to, I have to delay your booking for another week or 2 weeks. And this is in particular in California, this is happening. Houston is okay. Florida, it's okay. New York, Baltimore, all of these ports in the Caribbean are okay. In Canada, you're getting anything that is on the Pacific Ocean. You're having
more of the problem.
It's more of the issue, because that's where you get all the containers from Asia, China, and all of this.
So what about the difference in prices before and now? Again, we're not going to hold you anything, but just on average.
And I'm happy. You have to understand. I'm happy to to give you some ideas and insight. It's very different if you're loading it, let's say in Miami, and you live 10 minutes away from an ocean port, than if you live in Oklahoma.
Right.
I mean, how far is Oklahoma from the ocean? Yeah. I don't even know. It's like, what, 30 hours?
Who knows? Yeah.
So getting that inland from Oklahoma, you want to call it that, it could cost an additional $2,000-$3,000.
Just to get it to the port.
Just to get it to the port.
Right.
If you're in Florida, that's a different thing. But let's just give an example out of Florida. We do a lot of business out of Florida or out of very close to the port. I think the increasement is only about a couple of $1,000s
for the container.
For a service. It used to be like,
so 3 years ago, how much was a 40-foot container? I want to do 20. Like, okay.
Because I had this thought in my head. In my head, like 20 used to be like $6,000, 60 something. Now it's gonna be more like almost the $9,000. Right. So it's an increase, maybe $2,000, $2,500. And this is on a very basic service, meaning no food packing, no, something just to get you going with the basic service. If you're thinking about packing everything, you have art, you have a piano, you have a safe, your shipment has some complexity to it. Maybe you live in a building you live in a 55 floor, so moving companies, they have different rates for those type of projects. But for the most part, basic projects, before COVID, $6,500. After COVID, inflation, you're now looking at $8,500 to $9,000 on a 20-foot container. So from
is that
there,
a basic? I don't even know. Is that a basic container?
Is 20-foot container?
Is that the normal one? I don't even.
You have two kinds. 20 is the small. 40 is It's twice as much. It's the biggest.
So how much would that be? So obviously a lot. 15,000?
No, the 40s are in the 12, as it is right now, in the
Right.
12. And this is once
I
again
think people
out of,
understand things got more
Yeah.
expensive.
you know, whoever is going to need this is going to do it. You know, I mean,
Right.
and you see a lot of people making comments about it. No, it's not worth it. Yes, it's worth it. Everybody's life is different. Everybody.
Well, some people value their stuff.
I mean, and I had customers, you know, that this is my father.
Right.
He passed away, but he collected these antiques and this art, and I want to keep that.
Right.
And it's just, you know, so everybody's different. Now we have a lot of people that they just used to be they just live a very simple life. They want to be this minimalist. You know, that's here we go. So they would just come, fly, get a couple of plastic bins or bags, and just make everything from scratch. And that's an adventure, and that's fine. And some people, they want to have their.
They want what they want. You know, they want
Like,
what they want.
and
They want their car. They want.
I'm gonna give you another one. You know, after the things that they give us more issues at customs. You know, you said food. We said some of the clothing, underwear and used shoes. The other one is refrigeration equipment. It's very complex to get the permits of the refrigeration equipment. We could still do it. It's gonna cost an additional $300 on that. And it's going to take 2 more weeks to do it. So the three most common things that people shouldn't ship to Costa Rica. The biggest mistake, like I want to summarize this, the biggest mistake that people make is they do not count the boxes that they are loading in the container. Sometimes we do everything for the customer, but sometimes you're hiring the basic service, and it's your responsibility to count. If you bring me a declaration in your packing list that says that you have 100 boxes, when the shipment gets into Costa Rica, it better have 100 boxes.
Right.
If it's got 101 box, it'll cost a fine. It averages $500, just a mistake on this count. So that's a very big, common mistake, a very big issue that you save $500. Now you save $500 out of this video. Yeah, because
that's true.
I mean, I get that all the time. Even I repeat this. I said it.
But
and
it's
this
only
still
one
happens.
box, Pablo. It's only one box.
Yeah, exactly. But customs will see it as black and white. This is a felony. And today, it means that you can be smoggling something. You could be smuggling
Well, that's
money
kind of
laundering.
true. Actually, that's kind of true. So I totally see
But
why they do
I
it.
mean, smuggling. I'm thinking big time. You could be smuggling drugs or money laundering, or what is that?
Guns.
Could be, so today is a big deal, and we should take it as a big deal. Just count how many boxes and items you have in your shipment.
You kind of mentioned this earlier, but I just want to go over. Maybe there's a couple more things you can think of. So people, I found somebody better, Pablo. I don't know. What should they be looking at if they don't pick you? What are some I mean, there's some sketchy people doing what you do. I know this for a fact. That aren't always aren't so upfront as you are. So what should people be looking for if they're going to pick what you do, but it's not you? What should they? You kind of said, well, check Facebook, check some testimonials. But is there any other like red flag things that they say? Maybe they say it's too easy. Oh, that's easy. We can do it. The whole yes thing. So is there other things like that they should be like, red flag? I don't know.
I mean, I have to say, this is a complex project. It is a complex project. I mean, it doesn't matter. I've been doing
Even
this.
if it's simple, it's kind of complex, right?
So it's over a decade, 11 years. Every month I see issues, and every month I have emails or phone calls of somebody saying, "Hey, Paulo, I hired this company, but my shipment is stuck." So I still get it every month. So this is a complex operation. So do not fall into the trap of thinking this is easy and somebody's just gonna make things happen, and that's gonna happen. Like customs, it takes me a month. If somebody offers something different, if somebody says this is gonna it's a week, it's out. It's either they're lying to you or they are doing something illegal to get your shipment in a week.
I'd be worried about somebody underpricing it too, kind of like they do in a lot of things. Oh yeah, we can do that for X amount of dollars, and you're like, oh, that sounds great. Pablo's told me it was 9,000. You're saying it's 5,500. I'd be,
and I think there is a point here. There is a big insight. A lot of companies are not set up to do this type of project, but they will still sell the service. So a lot of companies will only offer, yes, I can ship it to Port Limon or Port Caldera in Costa Rica. You figure out the rest. So they give you a price, not the $9 or $8.
It sounds good. Probably sounds pretty good.
They give you a price of $8,000 or not the $8,000 that my average shipment is doing now. It's not the 8, but they give you this probably $2,000 less. It's at Limon. It's in Costa Rica, yes, but the trouble to get it from Port Limon, move it into a terminal in San Jose, getting the customs declaration properly, then after that, making the delivery from San Jose, maybe you live in Tamarindo. So how much do you think is going to cost you to move a semi-truck from San Jose to Tamarindo? So those $2,000 worth of savings that you thought you were getting, you're going to have to pay that to some...
It's going to be eaten up so fast.
That somebody's going to charge for this, and you're not going to have the opportunity to say, no, because you're going to be stuck with that provider, and that provider is going to probably overprice those inlands. So you have to be careful. When you look at, get 3 quotes, you have the one that is $2,000 less. There is a reason why. Right. So I'm not saying they're not...
whole too good to be true thing.
No, I mean, a lot of things, I want to be like, I guess, I want to be fair with everybody. Let's say they're not doing it with a bad intention, but you as a consumer, that's not what you need. You need the full service. At the end,
I don't know. You get what you pay for, and there's a reason it's cheaper.
So basically, they're selling half of the project. They're selling a part of the project. Sometimes, I mean, you're hiring, from your zip code to the port, and that's where I get the phone calls. Hey, Paulo, I got this. It's gonna arrive next week to port, and then I start doing the budget. It's like, okay, all of that is gonna be $2,000-$3,000 because I have to move it from Limon. Then it's another freight to Tamarindo.
So then now they want to use you, right?
and then they feel, oh, why is it? But
I tried to tell you.
The cost is the cost. I mean, we all use the same providers. The shipping lines are the same. The way people do business and how they structure their business, I think is what makes the difference. And I do feel you as an expat coming into a country that is not your country, you're coming into a different country, you have to get your set of experts around you. You have to get a good attorney, get a good real estate agent, get a good, customs broker that speaks English. And you may feel, oh, it's the gringo prices. A lot of people are like, maybe it's because gringo, right? Yeah. Maybe it's because you're maybe getting this. Shop around, get that mentality of gringo prices. I mean, yes, this is true. It could happen, but it's important for you to not just hire the shipping service, but just get behind you somebody that knows about these things. Because over the years, I get to see a lot of things. We can do a video, 20-minute video,
right.
And I can give you 100 stories of people with things that for 7 months, for a year at customs, right. Stuck. So it's have to be careful.
All right, guys, don't learn the hard way, man. It took me a long time to find him. If you want to do this stuff right, don't come to Costa Rica and start off terrible with your stuff in storage for the next 9 months. Use somebody you can trust. Pablo, thank you so much for talking to us, and I think we'll probably end up talking to you again. Write me at info@travelcostaricanow.com. If you're interested in using Pablo, you just want to ask him a question, he's going to answer you. I will get it to him the same day, and I'm sure he'll get back to you. Anyway, guys, I'm Michael Allen, travelcostaricanow.com. This is Pablo. Hey, guys, things are going to pop up. If you're thinking about living or traveling anywhere, always do your homework and research. And if it's Costa Rica, I'm thinking our videos. Ciao.